Hey everybody, welcome to Pink Shade. It's Thursday, so that means it's Pop and Bravo. And not always on a Thursday do we talk about Pop and Bravo. Sometimes more Pop, sometimes more Bravo. But today I've got Mandy Slutsker, so I bet it's going to be a lot of Bravo
And a little pop.
and a Pop. What is your Coke say on it?
Oh, it says Nathaniel.
Oh, okay, Nathaniel. All right.
Yeah.
I've been seeing them lately. I got one on an airplane that said "homie." I was like, okay, yeah. I've seen them now that say "bro, bro,
What?
bro." Yeah. Mhm.
I think it's weird enough that they have people's names on it because it's
Uh-huh.
like, when you're a kid and you go on vacation
Yes.
and you're at the
Yes.
beach, right? And then they have like a keychain with everyone's name. And
Mhm.
then they never had my name because
I
my
can ima
name
I would
is
see
a
Mandy.
nickname.
I know. I've seen Mandy on things. Do you think you could find Mary Payne? Good luck. Good luck.
They'd be Amanda. And I'd be like, nope.
You're like, "No."
Inaccurate.
I've definitely seen I've definitely seen the Coke bottles with Mandy. I have.
Oh, a Coke bottle with Mandy. That would be
Yeah.
really fun.
Yeah, well, what's that? Diet Coke?
Yeah, Diet Coke.
Okay, but, to me, everything is Coke.
Yes, and to me, everything is pop. So I
Right.
have
So
to
everything is Coke. So when I say
explain it
Coke,
to
I mean
people.
Diet Coke. If I see one that's Mandy, I'll get it for you. I did find one a few years
Please.
ago that was, Payne, Payne, Payne.
That's
Was
amazing.
pretty I think it might still be in my fridge. Like, I was like, "Well, we have to keep it forever." So, it might still be in my fridge, although our power went out recently, and it was one of those 3-day situations, everything had to go.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah,
That sucks when that happens.
I'll find it again, but at least it wasn't homie. Yeah, homie. I mean, on the airplane, she put the Diet Coke in front of me, homie. I
You're
was like,
like you,
"Okay."
like, look at the passenger next to you, you're like, "Hey."
"Hey, what's up, girl? Hey, homie." Oh, Mandy, it's good to talk to you. What a banner week on Bravo this week. We had the end of the Love Hotel, we had the start of Miami, and we had a banner episode of The Valley.
That Valley episode has taken years off my life.
It's a lot. And then Atlanta, I don't know if I watched this week, I'll be honest, but I've
You
been
know what?
trying to keep up, but I've usually been like one behind.
I'm one behind right now.
Okay.
I missed
Okay.
this week, but I watched the one where they meet the prime minister of Grenada
Okay, yeah,
and
I
are
watched that.
figuring out who would be the best first lady, and I loved that episode.
Wait, so I saw okay, so the one after that, they have, like, the minister of finance or something comes in. It's like another
Oh.
and then they go to the whatever is the celebration they have there in Grenada, where they cover themselves in black tar, like oil,
Oh.
and it's some sort of you guys, please forgive me. I did watch it now that I'm remembering, and I'm going to get this wrong, but just understand that I only know the gist of it. It's an important holiday where all the people in Grenada, they covered themselves in this black oil, looks like tar, and it's all about taking back slavery. And it's symbolic for the way that the slaves were treated. So all the now the people they have this holiday where they cover themselves in this black tar, and it's symbolic of freeing themselves from slavery. And so all the women did that, and they, Cynthia was like, "What?" They didn't want to get it in their hair, you
Yeah.
know. So Cynthia did her hair like in braids, and then put like big socks over her long braids, like big condoms over her braids. And it was funny the way that they were all trying to like let me tell you what, I would too. I'd be like, "Oh my god, how am I ever gonna get this out of my hair?" Um,
No, yeah.
but they
I would
all look
embrace it, though. I think they're having such a great time on this trip, and
yeah,
Grenada is getting its money worth. Like, all of those, the finance minister, the prime minister
yes,
getting
mhm,
airtime. I mean,
mhm.
now I'm interested. Should my next trip be to Grenada?
I was looking at it, I was like, "Oh my gosh, the scenery is gorgeous."
It's gorgeous, but they're not showing them as much doing the kinds of activities that I would do on vacation. Like, I'm all beach, I'm
Me
all
too,
water. And
me too.
so I'm like, oh, cooking lesson, great. Like, wouldn't do it, you know?
Agree, agree. I like to see people on a boat. I like to see the island from the water, like because all those aerial shots of all those, like, beautiful
Beautiful.
homes and stuff, I'm like, "Oh." Well, yeah, so I am caught up on it now that you said that, because I was like, "Oh, yeah, I forgot they were at the pool," and then another, minister of something came, and they, pretty much, um, were very inappropriate with
Yeah.
a man of that stature. He liked it. They didn't care. It was all consensual. Um, Phaedra is just so damn funny.
She is. She is
Sh
such a hoot. I, like, cannot get enough of her, and I'm a little bit sad that she's not gonna be back on Traitors because I just feel like she's so good that I kinda
Yeah.
want her on every season, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Mhm.
Like, it just
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it would be unfair to have someone with, like, had experience playing the game, to
Right.
come again,
Mhm.
but she's so fun. So,
Do
so
we have
fun.
any I saw that Dorinda was coming back. That's just because she got voted off first. Is
Yeah, I
anybody else
think
coming back?
Portia is coming.
She's not coming back. She wasn't on before. Dorinda's coming back.
Oh, coming back. No, I don't think anyone
Yeah.
is coming back.
Dorinda's the only repeat. And when is
Yeah.
it even going to be? Because they announced it. Does that mean it's coming soon? Or they're
No,
just
I think
teasing
they're
us?
filming it. They usually film it at the very end of June, like at this
Mm,
time of the year
okay.
in Scotland, and then I believe it always airs right after the first of the year.
Yeah. That's like a little January treat that we deserve.
Oh, it's
Mhm.
my favorite. I love it. Gotten my stepmom into it. I'm telling her Donna Kelsey is on there.
Mhm, mhm,
I'm like,
mhm.
go
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. It'd be better if Jason Kelsey was on there, but we'll take
He
mom.
is so
Mhm.
funny, or
Yeah.
Kylie, but I honestly think she is so wildly, like, underrated. People
Okay.
are just like, "Oh, Donna Kelsey, Donna Kelsey." This woman could give, like, media talks to people who've been doing press for decades. Like, the way that she shares information without actually releasing any information is incredible, and she's really thoughtful about it because you know that Taylor and Travis are, very tight-lipped
Yeah.
about where they are, what they're doing, and yet she's like I think she was asked, "Are you hosting Taylor for Thanksgiving? Is she coming for Thanksgiving?"
Mhm.
And she said, "No." And then it turns out that Taylor's family was hosting them. Like,
Uh-huh.
she's just never lying, but she's not fully sharing anything, and she's
Good for
very
her.
clever at how to do it, and
Okay.
so from a media training perspective, I just find her very fascinating.
Okay. Well, speaking of somebody who I think has had some media training, it's Jax. So on this episode of The Valley, back to us immediately. We just who else wouldn't do it if you saw he's back to his shenanigans, not taking a lot of accountability and doing a lot of lying. And by the way, that sofa, Mandy, I looked it up. I just recorded my episode about the Valley. I looked it up. The most expensive sofa you can buy on Lovesac, the most expensive, if you just go to their site, sift all the products, buy most expensive to least. The most expensive sofa they have is about $9,000, but it's about eight.
Right?
It's not
Okay.
20.
I was like, 20 is crazy
It's not
for
20.
that brand. I was like, "No,
I
like, come
looked it
on."
up. I looked it up because I
He's
was like,
such a liar. He throws so much out there and it's verifiably like not true. And then when you confront him, he's like, well, I don't know. Blah, 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 like he has an answer for
who
everything.
else doesn't have tax problems? Everybody has tax problems.
Right. Yeah. Every day someone's not filing their taxes.
But okay, but for $1.1 million, like what?
And he
You
said,
know?
I didn't have the money. And it's like, no, you did actually. When all of this happened was when you were on Vanderpump Rules and you did have the money.
Yeah, you just chose not to
You
pay it.
just chose not to keep enough money around to pay taxes.
Wow, that guy. Well, I have looked pretty hard for his eBay page, and I can't find it. Anytime I was like, it's like Jax Taylor, Jason Couchy, Jax Couchy, Jason Taylor. Like I've tried to find it, can't find it. So if somebody knows Jax's eBay page with the Jenny Craig bags for $30, I'd like to see it.
I could probably DM like Janet or Jason.
Okay, good. Do that.
Yeah, they've both like responded to me when I've posted like funny memes about
Mm,
them.
okay.
So I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, okay, maybe they would respond again.
Somebody Danny reposted something I did right at the beginning. I can't remember what it was. It was pretty funny though. I'm sure it was hilarious, but now I can't even remember what it was because my
they
brain just
they all have good senses of humor about themselves and making fun of themselves. It feels like.
I might be meeting some of them next week. No, the week after. No, next week.
Have so much fun.
Next week, I'm going to LA for Heather McDonald is having a 10th anniversary of Juicy Scoop party. And I got invited. And since I never get invited to anything, I'm leaving the beach and flying to LA to go.
Yeah.
And yeah, so she said she thinks Lala will be there. And she's like,
Oh,
and
yeah.
Janet, and she
Lala's
was, yeah.
always at
Um,
Lala and her are close, I think.
yeah, she was like, I don't know. I'll invite Sheena. I'll invite Janet, Jason. We'll see who comes. I was like, okay, exciting for me. Very exciting for me. Um, and another fun fact, I don't know if you know Matt, our friend Matt and Jake of Reality Gaze.
Yeah.
Matt used to work at the law firm where Jason's a lawyer.
Does he
Yeah.
know Jason or they just work
Yeah.
at the same firm?
Yeah.
Oh,
He knows
nice.
it. Yeah. He's always like, I could text him and see if he wants to come on your show. I'm like, nah, I don't think so. He's super nice, but I don't think he would tell me anything. Yeah, let's talk about the Valley. So Jax on the Valley is him being himself when he gets out. And by the way, literally didn't miss him for all the episodes he was gone, didn't miss him. And he brings there's so much stress on the show, and it's just like added stress when he's around. But on Watch What Happens Live, either he got a script or he has been into some severe media training because was so different on Watch What Happens Live, even than he is on the after show. Because on the after show, he does a lot of who wouldn't be upset, who wouldn't throw a chair. He
No,
does,
I think he's been this is a terrible thing to say about someone who is actively, trying to break their addiction, is sober, but he seems like he was drugged, like on benzodiazepines. Like someone gave him something just to not be reactive because it was
well,
so against his nature. And I think he can only hold that kind of a personality for so long and then he breaks. And
yes.
so, yeah, it's 20 minutes on screen, 22 minutes on screen. Great, fine. He can do that. But I don't think that's who he is. I don't think that's who he's becoming. And mainly because of the answers that Tom Schwartz gave, which is, do you think he's changed? And he's like, no, but like he's trying, which is like essentially blowing Jax's cover. Like he hasn't changed a whole lot
Well,
since they filmed.
Brittany has said the same. She has said on the after show and she said on Watch What Happens Live, she's like, no, no, I don't think he's doing drugs because I do randomly drug test him. And
Yeah, no, I
she's
don't
like, but
think
he's
he's
still the
doing
same.
drugs.
He's still the
Yeah.
same person.
Yeah. I mean, great that he is sober, but all of his issues, like he is not they're not gone just because he stopped doing cocaine and drinking alcohol, right?
Right. And I think that he's joked about it on the after show that, that he is diagnosed as being a narcissist. So, I mean,
Mhm.
he is, and you can't fix that. And he's a sociopath. I mean, he
He's
just
got
is.
so many like layered mental health issues, but at the end of the day, it feels like he cannot control his reactivity.
Mhm.
And that is the issue. He's just never learned to self-regulate his emotions. He like missed that part of childhood. And
But nobody held him accountable, Mandy. She should have left.
exactly. No,
She should have left him.
yeah, I
It's
know.
her
Well,
fault.
I blame his parents for not teaching him to self-regulate. That is kind of a job of a parent of like when you have a toddler of being like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, you're frustrated," like learning how to name the feelings that you have and learning how to talk through things rather than throwing things. Like these are things that, 3-year-olds, 4-year-olds, 5-year-olds, even older children do. And you work with them on how to do that. And he just never either no one worked with him or he needed extra help and it was not given to him. And no one really held him accountable, including Brittany. But you know what? I blame him. I'm not going to blame her for his behavior.
Well, what I'm saying is he tried to say this week. That's what he tried to say. Nobody ever held me accountable, so it's everybody else's fault.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
No,
know?
he can flip anything on anyone but himself. I mean, the way that he talks to himself, like that's the way he talks to himself, right? Like who hasn't messed up on their taxes? You
Right.
know what I mean? Like
Me,
he's
I
trying to
haven't,
make
you
himself
know?
feel better. So he's like talking to himself and in his head, like that's what's going on in his head is excuses, 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 excuses. He can't even say sorry without the word but. And he even used the word but on Watch What Happens Live. However, he was like subdued. Like again, I feel like he was like drugged or something where he was just non-reactive. So he was like da da da, but so it didn't seem like he was his usual like super angsty reactive self.
Mhm. Well, I did, Andy's like, people have like protested that we're having you on here. Like, what do you think about that? He's like, oh, I just have to apologize, for the people. Blah, blah. And then he did his whole thing, which obviously he'd really practiced. And Andy goes, but the person you need to apologize to is
It's
Brittany.
Brittany. Yeah.
He's like, oh yeah, her. Yeah, 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 her too. Of course, of course, of course.
That
Yeah, of
wasn't in
course.
the script. So,
Yeah, he forgot about that part. But yeah, Tom Schwartz just looks like a hostage. I mean, whenever Tom Schwartz is on the after show, he's like, why do I have to be with him? And then
he,
he's like, because I'm not even a cast member on the show. He's like, why do I have to
he,
come to watch what happens live with this guy?
he literally looks like he's actively dissociating.
Yeah.
Like every single time. Like he literally, his eyes, and he's just
Yeah.
like that.
Yes. Yes. And he's
And
like,
even it's happened a couple times with Jesse too. Like when in that first scene when Jax got out of rehab and they're in his kitchen and he's saying, Brittany better put this house on the market. She needs to find like a 3-bedroom, something appropriate for a woman.
I have the exact quote.
Jesse's face was like,
Even Jesse was like, I hate women, and I wouldn't say that shit.
exactly.
He says, I'll tell you exactly what he says. I'm just trying to see okay. He said, quote, no woman needs a 5-bedroom house, 7 baths. You're a woman with a child. Get something like a 3-bedroom that's manageable as a woman.
Manageable as a woman.
He said it 3 times. He said it 3 times. Woman. Yeah, he did. And even Jesse was like, dude, like nobody hates women more than me, but you got to the woman stuff. Yeah, it was really bad. It was really bad. And what else happened this week? Luke is, secretly planning this thing. Do we think that we're going to find out that Kristen knew all along? Because she can figure some shit out.
She can, but I do think that when filming is going on, she's so focused on like sleuthing around filming and finding a way to like redeem Danny and Nia. Cause in her mind, she's so worried that Jason and Janet are shitting on them, like, which they are, but I don't really think they need her redemption. So I think she's like so focused on that,
Yeah.
and that this is their trip. So she's like all in on them. And I think it's a perfect diversion because Luke is so underrated in how he does things. Like he knows her so well and I mean, understated. That's probably not underrated, understated in how he does things. So he's like, hey, she won't even see it coming. Right. And I really believe that like he seems to know her so well that he could figure that out.
Yeah.
That she's got like too many other things. Like if it was just them, if filming wasn't happening, if they didn't have like work going, like she would totally sleuth, she would figure it out. But it's all happening so quickly. What was so funny? So he has this gecko, I guess, or whatever his lizard
and
is.
Spiders. He's got all sorts of animals.
No. Those are the ones that I actually think Kyle Chan has.
Oh, see, they showed it. I was like, Luke has got all those. Where are they in that tiny apartment they had?
I think Luke has like one lizard or gecko. I don't know which one it is. And he brings it to Kyle Chan to watch because Kyle Chan has all of these like reptiles or lizards or, that kind of thing. And then they made the snake joke about Janet and all of that. But that's where because I watched it again because I was like, wait, is Kristen living in a home with like spiders?
Spiders. Yeah.
I just don't see that happening for her. But I do see a lizard.
Okay. And so, but I think that's very smart that he's done everything verbally.
Yep.
There's no trail. No trail. He doesn't, I mean, like Kristen doesn't even know that Luke filmed with Danny at Kyle Chan's. Like somehow or another, that wasn't on a call sheet for her to be able to see.
Oh, I'm sure he also worked with, production to make sure that she couldn't have access to certain things.
Yeah. But that's a good idea. Like, I'm going to go take my lizard over there so he can pick up the ring. Because otherwise, how would he get it?
But apparently, every time they go out of town, they stop at Kyle Chan's and drop off this lizard.
Yeah. He's played the long game. Like, one day I'm going to have to buy a ring from this guy.
I really adore Luke. I just really love him. I think he got a bad rap in the beginning when people are calling him a doomsday prepper. I just think he's a sweet, simple guy who likes the outdoors, who's not really into this whole like being on a TV show lifestyle at all. But he's a genuine person who really loves Kristen and who really loves her friends. And he seems to form genuine bonds with people. And so I love the people that end up on shows that like never were meant to be cast on a reality show.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. That's true. Um, okay, what else happened this week on the Valley? I'm trying to remember.
Jesse said no to
Mm.
Isabella spending time with Michelle's mom, who is dying of cancer.
Right, that was a low for Jesse, but, he has a point, like, we need to talk to Isabella about this, but actually she's 5, so you don't need to talk about grandma's gonna die. I think it's more like, "Remember when you're, like, sick sometimes and can't go to school? That's how grandma feels." Like, that's kinda it.
Yeah, you don't need to go into details about death.
Yeah. No.
It's just to spend time. We don't know the future, but it is looking very bad. And so the longer you hold out arguing about the way to talk to Isabella, the less time she is going to have with her grandmother. And more likely her grandmother is going to not even be able to spend time with her in a useful way if she's that sick,
Yeah.
right?
And
And so I think
he'll drag out the
he'll
conversation they need
drag
to
out
have.
the
Yeah.
conversation. I always get really frustrated when people say, like, that's not appropriate for my kid. Like, I'm sorry, like, what child is that appropriate for? If you have a 5-year-old and the parent dies, like, the child's gonna have to know about it, and there is a developmentally appropriate way to talk to children about just about any subject.
Yeah. Yeah. Mandy works in a pediatric situation, so she knows.
I just get very frustrated when people,
Yeah.
like, make these excuses. You think no child has ever been in that situation before? You
But
think there's no one you could ask for support?
right.
No psychologist, no pediatrician, no one?
Yeah.
It's like,
Right.
God damn it, Jesse. Like, stop it.
He's so annoying. He's so annoying. So then we had that, and then we had once again the piling on of Danny. They had a dinner. Now, what was interesting at that boys' dinner is that Jax goes, "Oh, it was just like a little birdie went into Danny's ear, and suddenly, no." Danny says a little birdie went to Jax's ear. I'm sure it was Janet. Why don't you assume it's Jesse? Because Jesse is the one that told him all that shit.
I'm
Because
pretty sure
Jesse,
it's
because
Jesse.
So
And
because by the way, no stink on Jesse. Jesse didn't say, "I called my wife a whore, and she threw a gir" so that didn't get brought up. Just what Danny did.
yeah, exactly. And the thing is, the fact that just when they mentioned Danny's name and he goes, "Oh, did Darkseid come out?"
Yeah.
Like, it's clear that they all talk about Danny behind his back
Yes.
and say that he's got some issues with drinking. And to
Yes.
get thrown out of Jax's seems to be
Twice.
like, and not because you're
Twice.
Zach, right? Because Zach gets thrown out all the time because he gets very frustrated with Zach.
Yeah.
But to keep getting thrown out of a bar that your friend owns, do you know how hard it is to make
Because you're
that
drunk.
happen?
Yes. Yeah.
Like, you have to really be behaving poorly.
I agree. I agree that Danny obviously has something going on when he
Yeah.
drinks, and he also lies because Nia said he
Mhm.
only had 2 seltzers, and I was like, "Roll the tape."
Yep,
Last
that
week,
was
they
not 2
rolled the
seltzers.
tape. He had the beer,
And
he had
she
the mixed
knows
drink, the
he
shot, the whatever.
lies. She knows, but she's not gonna ever publicly go against him, which I understand, like, as their marriage, if that's they're like, "Okay, we are a united front always, whether we're on camera, whether we're not on camera." But when we're in the privacy of our own home, like, that's when she is more honest. When they're in therapy, I think that's when she's more honest. And I think that is a secret to probably a wonderful relationship, but it is not an honest portrayal of who they are on reality TV. And I can see, like, yes, they're lovely people, but I can see why it would annoy other people on the show who are being honest and are having really uncomfortable conversations, that there's no uncomfortable conversations that are happening between Danny and Nia, unless it's like pre-decided, like, oh, last season, I think she was like, okay, I'm going to talk about my postpartum depression experience,
Mhm.
and so he's like, okay, I'll support you in that. Right. So I
Yeah.
feel like she even planned that because, like, that was what was going on in her life. And I appreciate that they did that on camera, but I think they talked through everything. And she is always trying to remove him from situations when he is
Yes.
drinking. And it is just like, come on, girl. Like, we're never going to get a chance to see what he's like. And I think that's what she wants. But then don't say that there's no problem.
Right. Right, and listen, as somebody who is, married to a
Yeah.
recovering alcoholic, a lot of the stuff is like it's not like it is. It's a lot of it's triggering for me. A lot of the Jack stuff is triggering. This whole show is triggering for me, actually, and a lot of people because it's just so but, a lot of Nia's behavior around it is very familiar to me, and, like, everything's fine, everything's fine, and sure, you may be talking about it at home, but, like, everything's fine, I don't know why you think anything's wrong, and trying to pull the person out so they don't make it worse, and, like, the whole, like, "Well, they only had the 2 drinks," like, okay, and even the drinks that we saw him have when they showed last week the time clock of, like, 45 minutes before, 50 minutes after that, 10 minutes before that, all the drinks they were showing, he didn't show up to that bar sober. I'm just telling you from experience.
Mhm.
The people that all of a sudden seem super drunk and you're like, "How did they get so drunk?" Because they were drinking before. So you saw them have 3 drinks, but they probably had 3 drinks before they came.
I also appreciated what Jason said. I mean, not the way he said it, but what he said about you don't need to drink every day to be an alcoholic.
Mhm.
I think that word is very loaded for a lot of people. And so it's easier to say something else. But the truth is that you can have a problem with alcohol and you can have alcoholism you could go months without drinking,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Mhm.
it's not like you have to drink during the day. It's not like you have to drink, mouthwash. Like, it's not
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
like something out of a paper bag. It's just when you have alcohol, you cannot regulate yourself. Like, that
Right.
is a component of potential alcoholism. And that is what he has. Not that he's alcoholism, but like he has this problem with self regulation. The issue I have is it's just not ever helpful to confront someone in that kind of a way
No.
because it's clearly not coming from a place of like empathy or concern for his well-being or Nia's well-being. It's like being done for a storyline. It's being done
Yeah.
to like catch him. And I think they're frustrated in general, like with him because he's kind of getting off scotch-free from taping. And I think everyone is feeling that way a little bit. But yeah.
Well, there's a Variety article came out today, and I have not read it yet. I just saw, like, some clips, like, Ryan posted some clips. People have posted some clips from the article, and one of it is Danny saying that at the end of season 1, Jack called him and said, "You guys got off looking like coming out smelling like a rose, so we're coming for you next season." Mhm.
And so maybe like Janet and Jason were carrying forward the Jack's. I don't know.
Maybe.
Whatever it is, it's like I agree with them. Like they're 100% correct in everything they're saying. The way that they are saying it is like really not nice. So to claim to be friends with Danny and Nia, like I don't know if they're good friends because that's not
Right.
how you should approach. I'm
Well,
not
we
saying
were
don't talk about it on camera. I'm just saying the way they're talking about it.
Well, I mean, Keisha and I were saying on our recap that, like, with the Janet and Nia, it'd be one thing if Janet off camera took Nia to lunch and goes, "I just wanna tell you, this is what I'm seeing, and I've had it in my own life, and are you okay? Is there anything we can do to support you? Do you feel" that would be being a friend. And if she said, "Everything's fine and you don't need to worry about us," I'm like, "Okay, I'm here to talk if you want to. Otherwise, I'll take you at your word and we won't discuss it again," you
But
know?
I think some of them take their job as a reality star very seriously, and
Well,
they're
yes.
told not to have any conversations off camera, and I
Mhm.
truly believe that, like, they're following that, and so I still think it would have been helpful to have that conversation even if it was on camera. Y
Empathetically.
Yeah, empathetically. That's what I'm saying.
Mhm.
Alone,
Mhm.
"Hey, this is what I'm noticing. It kinda makes me uncomfortable. I know it's made other people uncomfortable. I wanna come to you with this." I have a feeling that they've already shared this stuff with Nia.
Mhm.
Like, she knows. She's not stupid, right? She knows that this is an issue her husband has. Um, and it sounds like even the night that he was inappropriate with Jasmine and her fiancé, that he was like, there was more than just the 2 of them. There was other women that
Mm.
were grabbed that are.
Really?
Yes.
And where did
That
you
was
hear that?
according to Janet on the Vile Files. I listened to, like,
Oh,
the
okay.
first 15, 20 minutes. I haven't finished it, but
Okay.
she
Okay.
said that there were other people who aren't part of the group that's on TV who were
Mhm.
at that bar who he behaved similarly with.
One other thing I wanna bring up about the Valley before we move on is, this week when Jax said to Zach, "It's my show. It's my show. It's my show." Okay, this is what got him fired last time. Does anybody recall
Mhm.
that? That's
Yep.
what it got. And guess who else that got fired? Vicky Gunvalson.
Yep.
So when you say my show, this is my show, you're fired. And he himself has been fired for it.
I know, but I wonder, like, I'm a little bit confused why he's being on Watch What Happens Live. Why? I mean, I know that Danny and Nia and Luke and Kristen can't travel right now. They just had babies. So I think they're like at a limited number of like how many people they can keep flying out to New York for Watch What Happens
Mhm,
Live. But
mhm.
still, you don't have to have him. And also, why is he being featured at BravoCon? Like they usually keep certain names back and then like release them later. Why would he be in the first release?
Oh, I didn't see that. I didn't see that. Tell me about your BravoCon ticket buying experience.
So I've never had an easy time, and this was my first time that it was easy. I have no idea how. I have no idea why. Got the promo code, was 11:59, hit refresh, and it immediately was available. Put two in, and my friend Jody put two in, and she was said all things are carded, and mine just went through. And I was like, got him.
Yeah,
I was like, okay, you go and get this other thing and get a Bravo Palooza while I'm finishing getting these. And then once we got them, we're like, okay, last time at BravoCon, I said if I were to go again, I wouldn't do some of those night experiences. Like it
yeah,
was fun to see Watch What Happens Live, but you can
yeah,
watch it on TV later.
yeah.
I'm not going to get asked to like do a question again like I was last time, you know.
Mhm.
And then the club experience was horrible.
I remember you said it was the worst.
I
Yeah,
mean, it was like kind of hilarious, but we spent so much money and it was like not
yeah,
what
not
they
worth
claimed
it.
it would be.
Yeah.
So we got tickets to Kelly Clarkson,
Okay. I
which I'm
guess get
excited for.
is just she doing like a residency in Vegas or something?
Yes, and it's her last night.
Oh, okay. I do love Kelly Clarkson. Um, okay, well that's interesting. So yeah,
So
I 4 different codes, 4 different times I went in. And same with Ingrid, nothing.
what?
And last year, it was just we got VIP
No,
3-day right away.
yeah, last year you had the experience I had this year. Last year I
Yeah.
was like scrambling with like putting a couple one days
Yes,
together
yes.
and
So we did end up on the one day I got 2 tickets for Friday and Sunday VIP, but don't have Saturday VIP.
that's what I had.
And
Or yeah, no, I had Friday VIP and Saturday and Sunday general admission.
no, I go VIP or I go no, I don't go.
Oh,
So
I
we're
had a
waiting
great time.
so I'm waiting for Saturday VIP and then, we'll see what happens. And I didn't get any Bravo Paloozas or any of that. So I'm just waiting to see what happens. So I'm just waiting. So we've got the tickets and maybe we're thinking about doing some kind of like event Thursday night. I don't know, waiting to see what Amy Phillips is doing, but that is what's happening for BravoCon. I mean, we're going. We've already got our hotel room. I think we may have even booked our flights. I was like, we're going.
No,
So somebody
and
better give us some fucking tickets.
I got a hotel reservation like in April because they were having a sale
Yeah.
and it was $600 off and I was like, let's just get that and if we need to cancel, we'll cancel. But then like the day that we got the tickets, then we're like, okay, let's go. Let's get our like flights. Same flights as before. We'll see who from
We'll see.
Potomac is on our flight.
We'll see you on the flights. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. That same. It's like one flight a day on American. That's
Yeah.
nonstop
This is
from
early in the
DCA.
morning. It's like 6 a.m. or something,
It's
isn't
like
it?
pretty early, and then we
Yeah.
kind of like wander like zombies
Until
around
you can check into your
until you can.
room. Yes, exactly. I just wrote this down. Vegas flights need to book because I think I didn't do it yet.
I
Okay,
think
so
we're
that
in row like 20. So if you want to go in like 2021, you'll be with us.
Mandy, I hate to tell you, but
You only fly first
I
class.
don't I don't go with the Gen Pop. I don't
Fair.
go with the Gen Pop. I have so many American points that I just usually like book it for like advanced leg room or whatever. And then I'll get bumped up because I have so
So
many
you'll be
American
up there
points.
with our friend Ashley Darby.
I'll be up there with Ashley Darby, maybe Giselle.
Do you want to hear
Okay.
some tea?
Yeah, of course.
So you've heard that there's like a new show that's being
Yes,
filmed
in
in
DC.
DC.
Yes, uh-huh.
I know some
Mandy lives in DC as well, guys.
I know some of the people on it. And I think it's
Ooh,
gonna be really good based
okay.
on who they've casted.
Okay, and what's the premise?
I don't know yet. I think they're trying to sell us as like people who are big in like
Please
not
don't
in
say. I
politics.
was gonna say, please
Like
don't say politics. Please don't
no,
say
not
politics.
politics at all. Like if you like own a people who like own businesses in
Mhm.
DC, I think it's more like that. But I think it's all built around Brant, who is Ashley's best friend, one of
Yeah,
her best
okay.
friends. And
Okay,
so it's
not
like everyone kind of knows him ish.
okay. Okay, well, alright. And when do we have any idea when this show is are they just shooting the pilot or they're shooting the
I
whole thing?
think they're shooting. I have no idea. I need to reach back out. The person I know who's on it is like not a reality TV watcher.
Oh,
Um,
interesting.
yeah, at all. And
Uh-huh,
like they're like begging her
uh-huh.
because she'd be really good and she really doesn't give a shit about all that stuff and is really
Is it the person that I is
interesting.
it the person that I met? That
Um,
when we had dinner with Ashley?
no,
Not that girl?
no,
Okay.
no, it's someone I know completely separately in
Mm.
my life. I'll tell you off
Okay, interesting.
camera,
Alright,
but
well,
it's like fascinating because it's been greenlit enough. And so this person is telling me, oh, I have to go to this event and this event and this event. And I was like, well, if it's a day that I can make it, I'll join you.
yeah, like, do you need +1? Do you need +2? Mary Payne would also like to come.
Oh, I was gonna tell you as soon as but one of the days I just like I couldn't go. It was
Okay.
one of the things was on a day that there was the military parade.
Oh, yeah, we're
So
not
I
going
was
into
like, no,
DC for that. No, no,
yeah.
no. Mm-mm.
I already knew.
You already knew
So
that you
I
not to
already knew
ask
that was
me.
a no.
Yeah, don't ask me.
For me
Um,
too. Like I wasn't
yeah.
leaving my apartment.
No, 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 no. Stay inside. Well, speaking of, Giselle and Ashley, Love Hotel ended, and what a weird show this was. Now, people are already, like, looking forward to new casting, but let's talk about this cast. So at the end of it, it says, Shannon kept in touch with Earl and then whatever. On Watch What Happens Live, I think it was Ashley was it Giselle? Or was it Luann? I think it was Luann.
Luann was
It
on Watch
was
What Happens
yeah,
with Joel Kim Booster.
yes, and she weird that he got to go and watch What Happens Live, after what he did, um,
He made a
but
comment about it.
huh?
He made a comment about it.
When he said
Because
Bravo has those long line of forgiveness?
yes.
Yeah, mhm. So they said that the thing with Earl's stepson, they were like it was a Google search, like, Shannon's not a sleuth, it was a Google search that she found this guy, so and no, he hasn't talked to him since. There's a reason he wasn't in touch with him.
Yeah.
Interesting. So I don't think Earl turned out to be, like, such the great guy that he professed himself to be maybe, because he's out there, like, trying to get dates on TikTok, somebody told me. I haven't
Oh, interesting. I have
yeah.
no so he's using TikTok, like, to DM can you DM on TikTok?
No, I think he's like, "Hey, if you wanna date me, drop into my"
No.
yeah, "I'm available. Any ladies in the Georgia area" yeah.
Wait, that is so funny.
Yeah, that's what somebody said. Now, Luann with this guy, James. Now,
Who's
James
in from Hawaii,
but no, he's I mean, on
lives in Hawaii?
his Chiron, it said Orange County.
So he goes between Hawaii and Orange County all the time, and she says that she's been flying to meet him in Orange County rather than in Hawaii. That was what she's
The person that I know, Kate Casey, that knows him knows of him, doesn't know him personally, has heard he's like a total grifter with, like, no
that I
job.
mean, that kind of tracks for someone that Luann would date. I think she's really smart though, and like hopefully not gonna get married
On
again.
Watch What Happens Live, she said she loves him.
I
But she's free to do her own thing, darling. She got this ring from another paramour.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, just keep him on the roster, but do not do not settle.
Did you, on Watch What Happens Live, she said, she said several of her lines, of her iconic lines, and at one point, Andy goes, "Wow, you've just quoted yourself 3 times in the last 5 minutes." Like, he was like I mean, even I was because she does that all the time. She's like, "Money can't buy you cast, darling," or "Not really." She does it, and you're like, "We get it."
We get it, we're in on it with
Yeah,
you,
yeah.
but you're like, "Don't keep reminding us."
Yeah, it's just like Dorinda's was like, "I said clip." We're like, "We got it,
I know,
Dorinda.
we got it,
We
girl.
don't
Do
need
you
to
wanna
make
hear
your
a
own
funny
merch."
Countess Luann story?
Yeah, please.
So, back in September, Governor Gretchen Whitmer from Michigan was gonna be on Watch What Happens Live to promote her book,
Okay,
and my friend works for her and was like,
okay.
"What do I need to know?" Like, we clearly have a whole, like, team that's prepping her, but, like, "What do I need to know?" And I was like, "Oh, they're going to comment on how she looks like Luann de Lesseps. So you need to know who Luann de Lesseps is. She needs to know who Luann de Lesseps is, understand the kind of what the Countess is, the kind of things that, and she was like, how would I describe Luann de Lesseps to the governor? And I was like, I've prepared my whole life for this.
You're like, thank you. I'm
I was
ready with my
laughing
speech. Yeah.
so hard. And then, so they did the whole thing and it was, on live. And then she messaged me and was like, what's the gay shark thing? Question mark. Like, she's like, it's cute. It's funny. I don't understand. And I was like,
Yeah. We're like, nobody really does, but it's just a thing.
but like, can you imagine having to brief a governor and being like, so there's this housewife and people think you guys look alike.
And then you're like,
this
what do
is
you
what
mean
she's known for.
what is a housewife? Oh, we got to roll it all the way back to it's a reality show. Yeah.
Oh, so funny.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Giselle hated everybody. Why was she even on the show?
She hates everyone in general, but she's very funny.
But she's there. She would almost be a good host for it.
I think she'd be a way better host. I think she's meant to be more of a host. Like, I don't think she actually will ever let us in on her real kind of dating and flirting. In general, I feel like what she does is like not on TV.
I completely agree with that.
And then Ashley, she was still dating Josh
the whole time.
Yeah. I mean, I think they were open, right? I think she's like,
yeah.
But I mean, she's still seen with Josh a lot.
Yeah. So, I mean, she was never going to like Wale. He's not geographically comfortable. And then Ralph lives in Nashville. And she's like, well, if you want me, you can just move up to where I am,
Yeah.
Still want to know what musicians Ralph has worked for. Because he says he's worked with like big, huge, famous rock bands. And I still would like to know who. Do we know anybody that could tell us? I'd like to know. It's been my question every episode.
Do not know.
Damn it, Mandy.
I also barely know rock bands, so I would be terrible.
Okay. If you find out some names, let me know. Okay. Atlanta, Phaedra's back. We're excited about that. Are you loving Shamia so much?
I like Shamia. I really do. I think she's a very compelling person because she is flawed, they're all flawed, right? But she's one that's harder to find some of the flaws. You know what I mean? And I think one of her flaws is that she's not very confrontational and she does not confront people when she is hurt by them. And so she has been holding on to some of the stuff for a decade with Portia. And I think it's been one-sided. All the energy's been on her side where she's emotional and stuff. And Portia has zero idea. And so then when she came with all that energy, I think it really caught Portia off guard. And even though I think Shamia was right in all of her things, I think she's wrong in bringing things up 10 years later. I just think if you're not going to address something in the moment or in the few weeks after, you just got to let it go.
Yeah.
It's probably controversial to say that, but I'm if you don't address it, then it's really unfair to bring up to someone, how are they supposed to remember everything from 10 years ago? All of the details about what happened and what I did. You're just basically telling me that I did something terrible. I don't really remember it in the same way. And I have no idea that I hurt you. So I couldn't have even altered my behavior because I had no idea. It feels a little unfair.
Ah, interesting.
That's how I feel.
I do think their friendship will last though.
I hope so, but right now it's not a good spot. I think the reason if it doesn't last, the problem is that their moms were friends and then their moms had a falling out. And I think it was somewhat business related.
Oh,
something having to do with a daycare. And I can't quite figure out what happened, but whatever it is, people are going to side with their moms over their friends. And I think they kind of push their moms to the side so they could maintain their friendship. But yeah. So when they became friends when they were in high school, I think that's when their moms became really good friends.
Okay.
So there's layers to it. And so I was always wondering why is Portia's mom hating on Shamia? Shamia's such a lovely person.
Yeah.
So not someone who's a gossiper. Why is she making these little digs? And got my answer.
Wow. I didn't know that, Mandy.
I think it might have been in the after show. There is a Atlanta after show, which I hit and miss. Sometimes I just totally forget.
Yeah.
But I
I
think it was in there because I don't know how else I would have found that out.
that's some hot goss.
Yeah.
Mm. Um, Miami.
Hmm.
Happy that it's back.
I am obsessed with Miami. I think it is like it's this close to Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, which I think is like still number one
Yeah.
for all housewives. And I think Miami is like a very close second. And I think third, I would say Orange County maybe right now. Um,
Right now? We haven't even seen it yet.
no. I mean like last season, Orange County. Like I was
Okay.
very
Okay.
into it.
Mhm.
In terms of like where they're at in their current casting and storylines and that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
I think Miami is like far and away one of the best franchises. It has been fantastic. What is like 4 years in a row? Season 4, season
And
5, season
they
6.
don't change the cast up, which is
No,
good.
it
Yeah.
is incredible. I love it so much. It's like a telenovela. There's
Mhm.
so much going on. These women to see two women fight who are the two single most selfish people you have ever seen on Bravo is so entertaining because they're both right? They're like, you're so selfish. It's like, yeah. It's like, you're so selfish. I like loved that Lisa called out Larsa for having fake breakups because it is so goddamn true. If you are going to break up with your boyfriend 4 different times, call me on the fourth time.
Yeah, right.
Don't make me go up and down with you on this. I hate them. I don't hate them. I hate them. I don't hate them. I'm not even if I know you're that kind of person, like why should I on Instagram have to unfollow your boyfriend if a week later you're going to be together and then you're going to be pissed that I don't follow your boyfriend?
Right. That's so funny.
I love the Lisa versus Larsa is like everything to me because they're both terrible friends.
Did you know that Lisa has launched an app called Splitwell?
Is that like for divorcing?
Yeah. So it's sorta
Interesting.
like what people use, like, they use the parent wizard, when they get divorced and they're only allowed to talk through the family
Yes.
wizard or whatever. It's like that for, divorced people, and it, like, helps you find a lawyer and, you know yeah, I heard about it because she was on Heather McDonald's podcast, talking about the thing, but then she was really promoting her new app. Now what I found first of all, Marisol is my favorite human that's
She's
ever been on
so
television ever.
funny. Her mother was one of my favorites.
So great, and Marisol is really picks up the mantle. She's really killing it. I just love her so much. I love her so much. Steve! I love her so much, and I love the bro, bro.
Yeah.
I love the bro because that's all we do in our house is bro, and, but not homie, like on the Diet Coke can. But I gotta tell you that this week with the AC and Jody being, "We gotta go get this AC," the AC is really good in this room. You should come back here and do you wanna go in the room for the AC? When I tell you the way I died and the way that some people are like, "It's so weird, like, did they not have air conditioning in the rest of the apartment?" I was like, "Are you stupid?" Like, what? The shade and the way that the cameraman was just positioned right outside that door, catching all the audio. Loved
Yeah.
it.
No, I definitely think that there were drugs being consumed in that. I don't
You
know if
think?
they used AC to like mean the drugs. Like I truly think that I don't know. I
No,
kind of buy
AC means adult candy. It's cocaine.
right. I
Yes.
know, but like Jody was pretty adamant that that's not what it was and he
When
was
did he
like
say that? And who cares? It's not
he
true.
did say it on Instagram and he was like and if I was doing it like why is that a big deal? Like that's not what we were talking about, but um I so he used to live in DC
Yeah.
and I know people that knew him
Yes. You've
and
told me
they
this. Yes.
say very positive things about him. So I think he's lovely. I'm sure they all do drugs. I'm sure, especially if he's hanging out with Marcus Jordan. We've literally physically seen
Yes.
pictures of Marcus doing drugs. I love
Jo
how Larsa was like, that's so embarrassing to my family. Excuse me?
you were dating a man 40 years
Y-
younger than you. What are you talking about?
You're dating someone that you met when he was a child.
Yeah. That's odd.
That's embarrassing to your family.
Back to Jody. He was doing cocaine. He was doing cocaine in that room. I don't care if you know somebody that knows him and says he's nice. That doesn't mean he wasn't doing
Oh,
cocaine in that
no,
room
I
with
think
his
he was. I just don't know if the whole AC thing was like code. Like I just
Yes!
feel
Yes.
I feel like that was like acting like it's like a bunch of like cousins who are at Thanksgiving that are like trying to like sneak outside to smoke a bowl, and they're like overusing the whatever the like word is for pot. Like in
Yeah,
the
because
family.
once they started snorting the coke, they got real excited and wanted to keep saying it.
That makes more sense.
This is good AC.
Okay.
It's good AC. This is best AC. Wow, this your friend gave you some good AC in this room. I mean, come on.
Yeah. It was pretty funny.
It was so great. I
I like
love a
Jody.
Bravo moment when they troll people like that with the
I like
mics
Jody,
on.
and I cannot believe that Larsa was like, "How dare you follow my ex-boyfriend on Instagram and hang out with him? It's like a clout chaser." I am sorry, Marcus Jordan is not Michael Jordan. If it was Michael Jordan, yes, you could accuse someone of clout chasing. There is no clout to be chased with Marcus Jordan. I would have had
No,
no idea who he was
me
if
either.
he didn't date you, Larsa.
I think if Larsa said, "This is my boyfriend, Marcus Jordan," it would not occur to me that that
Nope,
person was related to Michael Jordan.
never.
Never. I'd be like, "Oh, it's just some dude she met that she's dating." I mean, yeah.
And, like, for her to say that he was texting I don't know, I think she's like I do not side with her on anything. I think she lies about everything. We found her lying. Like, ever since she said to Dr. Nicole, "What all you do is put people to sleep. I actually work." She said that to an anesthesiologist. I, like, cannot take a single thing she says seriously. Like, absolutely nothing. So when she's like, "Oh, he is, like, sending me message that are threatening," and literally the messages are, "Please stop contacting my friends." Like that. I'm sorry, I take Marcus's side in the breakup.
Oh, you got Marcus in the breakup. The other fan
I
of the
get
AC.
Marcus, Jody, and Lisa.
Wow, you're winning. Listen, all I want is Marisol. That's all I want. I
And
only want Marisol.
Alexia. Oh my god, Alexia is so like, how do all these things happen to me, but then never sees how the choices that she makes
Yes, right.
lead to like you
She's like Jax.
chose you married a like renowned drug dealer
Mhm.
and you knew, right? That
Yeah.
that's what his job was. So like you're inviting chaos.
Yes.
Then I don't know all about Herman, right? I don't know all of his background and all that. But like I think people were telling you that he was not into women and you again just ignored it.
Uh-huh.
And then you went for this man and I thought that like she really liked him and that he was good for her family, but when Julia said was he nice? Was he kind to your boys?
Mhm.
And she said, no. I'm like, Alexia, there's no one more important to you than Frankie and Peter. Why would you agree to like marry someone and be with someone that mistreats your kids?
Do you know I never watched one episode of Miami until I saw Alexia and Marisol on that Ultimate Girls Trip?
No way. You didn't watch it until then?
And I was like, "Who are these magical creatures? I love them with the bro and the accents." I was like, "I love them." And I binged Real Housewives of Miami from season 1 to now.
Oh my God. Season 2 of The Real Housewives of Miami is one of the best seasons ever.
I mean, you would have to
It
'cause I
doesn't age well though, because they bring in Joe Francis and it's clear like there's like a storyline in that where he has sex with an underage girl or like that's mentioned and
Yep,
everyone is like making it
yep,
seem like it's no big deal. And I was
I
like,
remember, mhm.
ha, that's clearly pre-me too.
And Larsa is speaking of her housekeeper and calls her some kind of racial slur. I can't remember,
I
but I
shouldn't laugh.
but I
Lars
remember
is just so terrible.
but I remember thinking like, "Oh, that didn't age well," what she called her.
Hmm.
Oh, I can't remember. It wasn't that bad, but it was like, oh, that would make it on TV today."
There was a bunch
Yes,
of stuff. Also, I think Leah Black, I think her husband was Jeffrey Epstein's lawyer.
he was.
Yeah.
He was. He
So
was.
she didn't age well either.
No, no. Well, she's just very into everybody needs a proper defense, even the horrible people, you know?
Like,
Um, wow. Well, yeah, because I loved them on Ultimate Girls Trip, I did go back and start at season 1, episode 1, Real Housewives of Miami.
how
So
shocked were you when you found out that Martina Navratilova is on The Real Housewives of Miami?
it's so crazy between that and like somebody in my family will walk through the room and be like, "Is
Yes.
that Martina Navratilova?" I'm like, "Yes, she's on the Real Housewives of Miami." Like, "What?"
Yes. No, it is. So my dad grew up in the USSR and
Mhm.
she was, like, huge in the
Of
70s.
course, yes.
And, as part of the US, as, like, Czechoslovakia was part of the
Yes,
USSR.
right.
And so he was walking by, and he literally stopped in his tracks, and he goes, "Are you watching a show about tennis?"
Mhm.
And we're like,
No.
"No." And he's like, "But that's Martina Navratilova, the best to ever do it."
Yes.
And
Yes.
I was like, "She's married to a Real Housewife of Miami." And he goes, "Oh, how the mighty have fallen."
Right. That's what my husband said when he walked by the TV and saw Charles Oakley on the TV.
Oh my god, that one's a really good one. Like, the
Mandy,
90s, like,
Mandy,
NBA stars.
he was in the kitchen, and he sees on the TV Charles Oakley in the kitchen, and he goes, "Is that Charles Oakley, the basketball?" I go, "Yeah." And I pause it and I go, "He is married to this woman that's on Real Housewives of Atlanta." And he was like, "What?" I mean, he was so upset. He was so mad. He was like, like he's mad that like his world is going in with my world. He's like, "That's not right. He shouldn't be on that show. He's better than that." I'm like, "Apparently not.
Well, my
Apparently not."
dad did stay to watch a scene, and I think it was when they were arguing about the farm and how, like, Julia had her
Oh,
farm
uh-huh,
in
right.
Broward County, and
Mhm,
my dad just, like, thought she was so lovely
mhm.
and thought
Well,
the whole thing was so funny that he was just like, "Oh, I love these people."
Julia is so perfect.
Kooky. She's
Yeah,
so kooky.
she's
What do
so
you
kooky.
think of all the, like, online drama that's happening where, like, Gertie is posting receipts,
Oh,
about
about the
Julie? I
Zoom
can't,
call?
like, understand why what Julia did was so bad.
Okay, so I haven't seen anything other than what was on the show. Julia set
Yeah.
up a Zoom call with all her friends to announce that they were adopting these 2 boys. Great. Gertie got into the call, nobody was there. She had to do a work thing, so she logged off the call, and then she sent her a text and said, "Hey, I had to log off. I had to go to a work thing. What happened?" She didn't know what it was gonna be. She
Yeah,
didn't know, so she texted and she said, "You'll have to find out with the rest of the world." So
sh but
what's happened since then?
it was, I think, nicer than that. It was like, "Oh my god, so we're like, my hands are full, you'll understand when you see." Like, I'm
No,
dictating this by phone, like, that's what I thought the message
I thought it
was.
was like, "You'll have to find out when the press release comes out," like
That
that.
too,
Yeah.
but, like, I
Mhm.
think the press release had come out. Like, I think that
Uh-huh.
she gathered them, and, like, 2 minutes later, the press release went out to, like, page 6 or whatever.
Oh, like the Jackson Brittany divorce,
I
yeah.
think
Mhm.
she was, like, ready to release it to, PR, and then was like, "Oh, crap, I should probably tell my friends so that they
Mhm.
don't feel like I released it and didn't tell them."
Okay.
So, I think she gathered everyone, and then, like, Gertie just didn't make it, and so she's like, "Okay, well, you can see now." I
Well,
don't know.
Julia's really upset about it. She felt like it was disrespectful of Gertie not to, like, be there. So
That
what are
is
the online
that
receipts?
is,
Because I
like,
don't
stupid. I don't
I agree.
understand. It's the text messages, and Gertie is trying to, like, post to prove her point, but I don't, like, clearly, like, she didn't like what Julia said, but I don't know, if it was me, I would just be like, "Oh my god, that's so amazing," and then find a way to, like, show my friend how amazing it is regardless of how I found out about it. And
Mhm.
I think she got salty, and then I think Julia got salty back too. I think she thought what Julia did was salty, and I think what Julia was doing was like, "I literally actually have the kids with me and cannot, like."
Discuss at the moment. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
Hmm.
way I took it, but I need to reread it because I was like, "Am I, like, underreacting?" Like, I just didn't think it was that big of a deal, but Gertie and then Dr. Nicole came out in defense of Gertie, and then someone else came out in defense of Gertie, and so I was like, "Is Julia just being, like, unnecessarily problematic?" Like, I don't know.
Maybe she's just, like, super sensitive around the topic,
I
you
think so,
know?
because
Yeah.
when the topic was brought up, they were kind of silent. Remember at the party, at Jodie's party, they were like, "Uh-huh," and she's like, "I know not to
Oh.
talk about it now, but just
Well, I think it's
want you to know
interesting
how
too that
happy."
they're very much trying to be like, "Okay, we've got these kids and they're trying to acclimate into a new family. We're not gonna show them at all on the show or anything." I think that that's a really good choice.
Mhm.
So, I mean, it's a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, and they've just we don't know what their circumstances were, where they
Right.
came from, and to have them, you know, dropped into the Fancyville is probably jarring, you
Yeah.
know? Um, but I do eventually would like to know more about them. I think that's a great story. How old is Martina Navratilova? Not to be rude.
Do not know. I know Julia is like maybe in her early 50s.
But Martina's like in her 70s.
Should I Google?
Yeah, just Google it and just tell me. I mean, listen, no shame. She could do whatever. Yeah. I mean, I think Kelsey Grammer just announced he's having his 14th child.
She's 68.
Okay, she's 68. Well, 68 is grandma age to have a 1 and a 3, but that's
And
okay.
like, think of how many grandparents are raising their grandkids these days.
Yeah.
Like, how is that
Listen,
different?
obviously, the 2 of them were filming quite a bit, so they obviously have a couple of helpers, you know?
Oh, no, totally. I'm just saying that, like, in general, like, adopting or having children at that age, like,
Mhm.
how is it that different from people who are being raised by their grandparents?
Yeah,
Like,
right.
grandparents are gonna die much younger, but, like, you
Yeah.
never know what you're gonna get, you know?
Well, you need to get Jesse's therapist in to talk to these children about death.
The, life coach and just have them in the
Yeah,
screaming
Scott
into a pillow.
Scott, the life coach, who next week, Jax is like, "I got a lot of anger issues, take it out on my wife." It's like, "Mm." So I was saying, I wonder if, Scott, the life coach, is like, on Veep. He just stands behind Jax and is like, "Here's what you're supposed to say. No, you don't yell, 'Stupid whore, you drink too much.' No, no, what you say is yes to whatever she says." Yeah.
I don't know that Jax understands that his behavior is abuse.
Oh,
Like,
no.
and that's the thing is it's like, this is abuse.
No, Mandy, you would say the same thing if you found that out. You would do the same thing. Everybody would do the same thing. Come on.
Like, it's so crazy to spy and to like say, I have people looking for you and
Everybody knows
just,
you're drinking. Everybody knows
yeah.
you're oh, well, she can drink. She could go out and drink all she wants.
He just was like, they're out there having fun. And I'm like, you literally are not in the mindset to get help. Like, if you have FOMO and you're in rehab
Yeah.
and you're only focused on filming and who is at which event and like
Yes. Yes.
it's all about that and not asking to see your son. And then he's like, she keeps her from she was keeping her. She said she wasn't ready. That is not true.
No,
He's lied. He just
lying.
lied.
Lying.
You go get Botox, you go get your hair cut, you do everything but reach out to Brittany. And he's like, I'm blocked. She unblocked you. Why don't you even try?
Oh, he
That's
tried from his burn.
crazy.
He tried from
The
his burner.
burner. That was one of the funniest things.
I love how Jax, he did say, and watch what happens live. He goes, everybody has one. If they say they don't, they're lying. Schwartz is like, I don't have one.
I know. That is so funny.
Schwartz is like, I
So
don't.
I think the whole thing with the burner is like people do have them so that they can like stalk
Yeah.
people who block. I guess I don't
But
know.
they
I don't
don't
have one,
comment.
but they don't comment or like pretend to be a different alias.
Jack Saylor, he's a legend. I love it. Janet goes, I am so secondhand embarrassed for him. And then Brittany goes, but I don't want him to find out because I want to keep trolling him.
It's so crazy. I love that Brittany finally broke free.
Me too.
And I know it's so hard, right? But like she's doing so right by her son and she's so smart in, you know, getting like the one thing that she said, I think before even the beginning of the season in an interview or on a podcast that stuck with me is she said, when you're with someone who's abusive, it changes your brain. And so it like changes, it rewires things and you get used to things that are other people find abnormal, but you just think are part of the way life is. And it takes a really long time to unlearn those things and to rewire your brain to be healthy. And so when she said that, I was like, oh my God, can you imagine being with Jax Taylor for 10 years? I don't care if people say she did it for fame, she did it for whatever. Her brain was being like manipulated and ruined by him. And she is taking a very strong stand and being very, you know, amazing and trying to like undo all of this and get professional help and lean on experts and lean on that divorce lawyer who's telling her this is not okay. Right. And I just think that's a sign of a very strong person. I feel like everyone is just shitting on her. She should have known. She should have known. My God, like, I just don't feel like we need to go down that road.
I loved the divorce lawyer. He did say on Watch What Happens Live that their divorce will be final like July something. So
I hope
like,
they're filming season 3 when she gets to party and celebrate.
well, so because it's airing right now, and they usually film in the summer.
Mhm.
Interesting.
I don't know, maybe they'll move it back just a couple months
Yeah.
because of the babies.
Right. Right. Did Nia have her baby?
Mhm. Her
What
name
she
is
did?
Adelaide.
Adelaide. Okay, cute. A
Very cute.
cute. And then Kristen had her baby,
Kaya Lily.
Kaya. Kaya is the most normal thing Kristen could have come up with. Didn't
I
you
think
think
it's really beautiful.
yeah, I really thought she would name her kid something like Ocean, like something real weird.
So it is related to ocean. So, like, I forgot what Kaya means, but it's something, like, related to the water in Hawaii, like,
Mhm.
where they got engaged.
So it's not Kaia,
It
Kaya, like
is.
that? Oh, it is, okay. She
Kaya
probably
meaning Hawaiian, I'm Googling, hold
okay, she
on.
probably named her after
It
Kaia
means
Gerber.
sea in
She's like,
Hawaiian.
"Kaia Gerber's a really pretty model, I think I'm gonna name her after her."
So, it's definitely ocean related, ocean adjacent, but
Okay, well,
a very pretty name for that.
I like the name Kaia, so that's
Me
good. Good for
too.
her. I don't think we have anybody else to talk about. We got Miami, we got Atlanta, we got the Valley, we got Love Hotel. Thoughts on the Karen retrial? Because I watched every single minute
I
and
don't know who she is. I'm so
damn
sorry, I
it.
did not pay attention. I could give you lots of thoughts on the Supreme Court rulings from today, but
No, I don't need that.
nothing from
I don't need any of that. Okay. Tell me what's going on with your show, when it comes out, where people can find it, and all that jazz.
Thank you so much for having me, Mary Payne. You
Of
know,
course,
I'm a huge,
always.
huge fan of Pink Shade. Love you, love Ingrid, love all of your
Yes.
guests. So my show is called Is This Real Life? And it is a primarily Bravo podcast, and it comes out on Sundays at 7 a.m. Eastern. And you can find me at Mandy Slutsker on Instagram. And I think I'm on Twitter, but I'm really trying to like remove myself from that narrative. It was really fun the day that Elon and Trump were fighting, and like it,
Yeah.
like get like pulled back in,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
how
yeah.
Brittany was getting pulled back in by Jax.
Yes,
That's how
yes.
it felt on that day on Twitter. But I'm trying to remove myself from there. But yeah, you can reach me. And as I always say, if you have trouble finding me, just type in Mandy and then slut. And I magically appear because my last name is Slutsker.
It is weird that that's what appears and not a porn site. It is.
Yes, yes, it's just
Let's
me.
keep it that way, everybody. Keep your fingers crossed for Mandy that some major porn star doesn't come up with
Oh
the name
my
Mandy
god,
Slut.
that would be terrible.
Be bad for your brand. Everybody, you can follow me at Pink Shade Pod. And let's see, today's Thursday. So later this week, Friday, I'll have an episode out with Jake of Reality Gaze. We're going to be talking about 90 Day Hunt for Love. Next week with Keisha, I've got TLC's Virgins. I've got 90 Day Fiance. Not sure who my co host will be. And in this slot, Pop and Bravo next week, in this slot will be an episode with Krista Rosa, Bravo TV producer, but we're going to be talking about the Netflix documentary, The Mayor of Mayhem. So everybody go and watch that on Netflix. The first train, it was called Trainwreck Astro World. And then the second one is Trainwreck Mayor of Mayhem, which is about this Toronto mayor. So there's a train wreck and they're doing each one, they're doing one a week. So I love to talk about anything not Bravo with Krista Rosa because since he works for them, he's not allowed to talk about it. So he comes on and talks about other things, but sometimes I get some scoop out of him. And thank you, Mandy, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.